People of the Purple Butterfly here, people 7 on Twitter and YouTube, and people elsewhere on the internet. And I got a question, so I'm giving the answer live. They want to know how to work with dark colors and still have an even stitch, especially when the yarn tends to snag or snare. Well, that's about rhythm. And once you get your rhythm going, it shouldn't be a problem. And also, there's a technique. See, there's a snare. Release. You take the needle and you sink it into the heart of the stitch like that, and continue on like that. Now, as you can tell, part of that came loose. Well, go under to where that came out, and then do it again. Ta-da! But each stitch, if you notice real close, makes like a little heart-type shape. So what you want to do is sink the needle into that heart and then pull it through like that. Sink, wrap, pull. Sink, wrap, pull. And it's hard to do it smoothly while I'm trying to show you at the same time. But basically, once you develop a rhythm, it doesn't matter how fast or slow you're going, you'll be able to get that perfect every time. If you do have a very cherry, snary, snaggy yarn, just knit slow. Don't worry about speed. Those are not the yarns you want to be using for an important project anyway, if there is a time constraint. Those are the yarns you use when you're making something beautiful and relaxing. So you want to go slow for those items. Okay? That's like this beautiful yarn is made of wool. It's a sock yarn. It is quick spun. It will snare. That doesn't bother me because with the pace I knit at, I can make many things very quickly anyway. But say, for instance, I was making it for, you know, a certain occasion or whatever, I wouldn't use this yarn if I only had a day or so to make something. I would use this yarn when I have more than a week to make something. So that way, I get whatever work done in a beautiful format that's, you know, nice and not all snaggy-aggy. So that's how we do that. And this process is very important. I'm using a lighter color just to show you. But the process is very important if you're using a black or navy or a very dark yarn where it's hard to see your stitches. You want to develop your rhythm so that way even when you're working with dark colors, even if you can't actually see the stitch, you can still do the stitch. See what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I knit, I'm not even looking at my stitches, but my stitches come out perfectly because I'm doing the same rhythm. I'm keeping the needles where they need to be and wrapping the yarn as I need to. And that's how that happens. That's like I knitted that whole 2 rows in purl stitch so you can see the knit side. This is what I was dealing with. And the technique is still the same. Even if you're doing purl, you still know where the heart of the stitch is. But instead of sinking, you're actually lifting. See that? So, well, actually, let me go slow so you can see it. You're lifting, wrapping, sliding. But it translates to the same thing. So, and also you will notice I'm actually working from my left to my right. I do not feel the need to knit this way, turn my work, knit this way, turn my work. I've been knitting for over 30 years, and I can knit left and right without thinking about it. In fact, some of my vintage patterns, which are older than I am, there was no such thing as turn the work back then. So a lot of your patterns, especially when you look at the charts and you're going, well, that doesn't make sense. The charts are assuming you're going left to right, right to left, left to right, right to left. And today's knitter usually goes, you know, to the right, from the right to the left, turn their work from the right to the left. And that's not the way people used to knit back in ye olden days. They used to just knit back and forth. And I was taught by a lady who was from Sweden. Well, actually, I learned how to knit from a library book, but the first knitter I came across was from Sweden. And we used to sit around drinking coffee. She's actually the one that taught me about how to make coffee from a coffee machine. And we got so excited, we went out and bought our own coffee machine. That was how we got the first one. We didn't know about filter baskets. We put the ground coffee in the water reservoir with the water. After we got to clean up all the mess and everything, ended up buying a new coffee maker very quickly after that because we ruined it. But by this time, we had a clue of what to do. But by the same token, she taught me how to knit. And when I went to flip my work around, she goes, "What on earth are you doing?" And I said, "I'm flipping the work around." And she goes, "In the why would you do that? That is not how you do it. You do it this way." And she showed me how to knit left to right. And she goes, "You left-handed and you flipping the work. I don't understand you." And I went, "Well, that's the way the book was showing me." And she says, "Show me this book." And she looked at the book. She goes, "American shortcut. This is the proper way to knit. Do you knit this way? You can knit with any pattern on this entire planet. And when you get the American book and it says turn the work, you just go the other direction. Turn it in your mind. Don't turn it on your fabric." And as goofy as that sounded, that is what worked for me. And when you see people in these knitting contests, like when they had the videos for the world's fastest knitter, or they clock people knitting, so forth and so on, that's how they're working. They're going back and forth as opposed to knit a row, turn a row, knit a row, turn a row, so forth and so on. You know, they go from the right to the left, from the left to the right, from the right to the left, from the left to the right. And as long as you are attuned to what you're doing and you're making the stitch properly, don't worry about all the nuances of how other people do it. So that's all I have to say about that. And this has been People 7. Y'all stay blessed and have a Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.